guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about this plate carrier right here. This is a Testudo Gen 2 plate carrier from AR500. And I actually really like this plate carrier quite a bit. I've tried a few different plate carriers over the years. I've used the Condor, and then I've tried out a couple others that a couple friends have. And some of them are higher end plate carriers, you know, $200, $250. And then others have been cheap. So this is kind of the plate carrier I've settled on that I like the most for the price. And I have another plate carrier from AR500 too, and I'll do a review on it at some point as well. It's the, I can't remember, I want to say it's the Testudo Light, but it's just basically, there's no padding on it or anything. It's just basically hold your plates and that's about it. But this one on here actually has some pretty good padding. And I guess we'll start with the padding itself. So on a lot of plate carriers, like say like the Condor one or a few others that are out there, especially the budget ones, if they're really under $100 or around the $100 mark, they're not going to have really good padding. Like for example, on the Condor one, they have that really thin foam that you think of for like kind of packaging foam. It's only like, you know, maybe about that thick, and they just kind of put it in there. And I mean, it helps obviously if you're using steel plates, or you know, it's going to give you some padding. But this gives you substantially more padding, to where whenever I put those steel plates in this plate carrier, it was actually comfortable to wear steel plates, other than the weight, obviously. And so if you're using something like these back here, which are the multi-curve plates, if you wear that in conjunction with this, it's really, really comfortable. Now again, you're still having to deal with weight, but because that padding's there, whenever you're going into prone or whenever you're moving around, you don't have those plates digging into you, because this padding on here is really, really cushiony. All right, so the padding on here, hopefully you'll be able to see it. If you look past this netting, you can see kind of inside there, it looks kind of like shiny black specks. That's the padding itself. It's like a thicker black foam, and I would say it's probably about that thick. And it has a nice squish to it. It has a decent amount of padding. Again, it's substantially more padding than something like a Condor. And out of all the plate carriers I've seen out there, including some higher end ones, like this padding is on par with theirs. The nice thing too about this kind of grid material is it really allows you to air out. And the Condor plate carriers I'm used to wearing all the time, like they have a little bit of a mesh, but it really doesn't help with airflow all that much. Versus this, I don't think I've actually sweated or my shirt has gotten drenched like it has with other plate carriers compared to this one. This one I'm a lot more, my skin is a lot more able to breathe, and my t-shirts haven't been soaked in sweat. And again, where we live, it gets super hot, so that's important. So I know a few of you have been asking about how to spray paint your rifles, and a video tutorial on how to do that, and how I did the camo patterns on some of my guns specifically. At some point I'll do a video on that. Next time I spray paint a rifle, I will make a video. So here's something I've been working on for a little bit. Maybe y'all don't care, maybe you do. If you want more like a tutorial of how to do this, I can do that if you want. But this is just a Nerf gun that I have painted to look like, you know, the gun from Halo. Obviously took some artistic license here, you know, to just kind of do my own thing with it. But this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm pretty excited on how it turned out. But anyways, if you want a tutorial or kind of a walkthrough on how I did this, I could do that if you want. But you can buy these Nerf guns for like $60. So if any of y'all are Halo nerds like I am, I think something like this is pretty cool. But anyways, if you guys like this, let me know. So obviously the padding on there is nice. Now you get that same padding on the shoulder pads here, and which makes this to where you can wear it pretty much all day long, and it's still not going to be comfortable, you know, wearing all day long. You're still going to get worn out, your shoulders are still going to get tired. So it's not something that's just going to be like, oh yeah, let me just put this pillow, you know, on my shoulders. It's still going to be heavy because you're carrying around a bunch of gear. But the padding on here does help. And a lot of people say, oh, you know, you don't need padding on the shoulders and everything. Like you'll get the slick setups where it's just like kind of like a band of material and it goes across. And yeah, that's low weight, well, I guess it's low weight also, but it's also kind of low drag, the whole high speed setup, the minimalist type deal. And I'm not a huge fan of that one because I'm skinny, so I don't have a lot of cushion on my shoulders to begin with. So having this on here makes it a lot more comfortable. And again, if you're wearing this for any extended amount of time, you're going to want some padding, because otherwise the straps are just going to dig into your shoulders. So these having padding on the bottom is a must. And these padding, or the padding on here for the shoulder straps, are significantly more comfortable than the Condor ones. Again, because the Condor ones don't really have padding. It's just a bunch of webbing material, you know, wrapped around. So it's just this material itself. which does add padding, but this has actual padding underneath it. So this is pretty squishy. And so again, if you're wearing it for multiple hours throughout the day, it's a lot more tolerable to have this on. Now, one thing I don't like about these shoulder straps is the adjustability. So let me take this off here. So you can see it's got the straps, and you can remove these pads if for some reason you don't like them, you know, that's fine. So underneath here, you can see what I did. So I took this strap, and normally, as you can see right here, here's the female buckle. The male buckle would have originally been on this strap, and then it would have buckled into this buckle right here that it stays permanently attached to this back strap right here. Well, I'm a small dude, and there was not enough adjustability to get this to where it was small without these straps coming all the way down in front of here and then having to like Velcro to the front, which is dumb. And so I guess if you wanted to, you could cut off the excess material, but then you run out of Velcro that's able to secure it, and it wouldn't be as strong for holding up weight. So what I did is I just took off the male buckle completely and then looped this material back through this back end right here, where it's attached over here. So I just ran it back through, ran it over the top of itself, and then Velcroed it down. So I don't get the, you know, the QD buckle where, you know, you can get out of your plate carrier faster. Other than, you know, if you're falling in a river and drowning, I don't really see a need for that. It's pretty easy to swim out of a plate carrier if you need to. I guess if you're injured, it'd be easier for someone else to take it off of you. But anyways, beside the point, this is what I had to do in order to get it to adjust to me. Now, a couple of my friends also have this, and they are, I would say, normal sized dudes, and they had to get this basically to its smallest setting to where it fit them okay, and it's still, the back plate on them is still a little bit low. So I imagine AR500 made it to where it fits larger guys, but they didn't really consider smaller dudes. I don't know. So I don't know how they can make more adjustability, but again, you can get around that by doing what I did here, and it's not that big of a deal. But it's something I wish they allowed for, you know, just more adjustability. But one of the other things too about the pads, and you can see right here, like these are some pretty substantially thick pads. On the top right here, you get one bungee little kind of like MOLLE strap, and then these other ones are just normal MOLLE. They're just kind of the normal nylon straps. Versus this one is a bungee, which makes it nice because as you can see over here, I use that for running my hydration bladder hose through. So that's pretty nice. So the way these straps are attached on the back, hopefully you can see this, on here, and it's kind of weird because on most plate carriers, you see how this is attached on the front, it comes out of the corner, and then it just goes over the top, and that allows the front end to sag down. And one of the nice things about this, and I thought it was really, really strange at first, and I couldn't figure out why they did this, but I realized that whenever they attach this back end to the back of the plate carrier itself, it prevents the back plate from being able to sag down. So it makes it higher up on your back, because a lot of the times, especially all the guys that I've ever seen set up their own plate carriers, 99 times out of 100, their back plate is going to be too low. So they'll get the front one, you know, in the correct spot, you know, up against your sternal notch at the top by your collarbone. But then the back one will be like either really, really, really low, and it'll be sagging down, you know, to their butt. So you obviously don't want that. You want it to be the same level with your front plate, you know. So if you were to look from side to side, you know, look at yourself in the mirror, your front plate and your back plate should be level. And so a lot of the times what happens is this back plate gets way too low. So them adding this down here kind of forces it to go up higher, which I thought was a nice touch. So it kind of prevents it from sagging as much. Now it's still going to sag if you make these adjustments too loose, but it'll help you not get as saggy on the back side. So that's a nice touch as well. Now, if you ever use, like, say, again, I'm going to compare it a lot to a Condor one just because that's one of the one I have the most experience with. But the Condor material, which actually is this right here, this little magazine pouch, it's not as rugged. So if you feel this material, it's definitely thinner and not as durable as this right here. This is a noticeable difference. It's a lot more heavy duty than nylon. Again, you can look up the specs. I don't remember the specifications, the numbers for it, but if you go to their website or click on anywhere that sells it, they'll tell you what kind of nylon this is made out of. But it's a very, very durable nylon, and it's the exact same nylon, at least from what I can tell in durability, as all the other nicer, higher-end brands that I've seen, and I've seen quite a few of them. On a side note of that, another nice thing kind of about this is it's a larger plate carrier. And a lot of people, again, want something small. They want something that's, you know, kind of high speed, low drag kind of deal. But the problem with that is you don't have enough room for all of your stuff if you get a plate carrier like that. Versus a plate carrier like this, yeah, it's a little bit bulkier, but it allows you to carry all of your stuff. So unless this is one of those, you know, keep in the back seat, you know, of your truck kind of plate carrier type things, and you just want just the plates itself, you're going to want MOLLE all over the place. And this plate carrier has MOLLE, as you can tell, all over the place. A couple other plate carriers I've seen, one that Rhett had for a while, didn't have MOLLE up top, it only had it at the bottom. And that was a problem whenever it came to attaching like backpacks, or if you wanted to clip on anything up here, you couldn't do that. It was only Velcro. So if you ever plan on running like a backpack or anything like that, or you want to put a lot of stuff on here, make sure you get a plate carrier like this one that has MOLLE at the top. Another nice thing about here too is this plate carrier specifically, and there's other plate carriers that do this too, but this plate carrier specifically has a couple little, I don't know if it's technically MOLLE, but webbing on the side that goes vertical instead of horizontal. And that allows you to better manage wiring. So if you have a hand mic like I do on this one, you can wire everything through here, and this allows you to kind of tuck it to the side where it kind of stays out of the way. You could run a hydration bladder hose through there, you know, any kind of cords or anything like this you wanted to. It allows you just to kind of run stuff through there. A little bit more management, tuck stuff out of the way so it doesn't hang up on your equipment as much. The other nice thing about this one is it has two admin pouches. So most plate carriers will have an admin pouch behind here. And hang on just a second, let me pull out these mags so you can see this better. And for anyone wondering, in case you're wondering why one of these mags had green tape on the bottom, that's because it's green tips. So that just gives me options. But anyway, so this admin pouch here is a normal one. Like most plate carriers have an admin pouch right here. And you can tell, you pull it apart. They have little nice tabs that you can pull on, and it gives you a little bit more, you know, purchase. I end up just digging my fingers down in there anyways because Velcro is always hard to get apart. So whenever you pull this apart, hopefully you can see down in there, it's a full-size admin pouch. I don't ever keep anything in there, but you can put whatever you want in there, maps or anything else. But I pretty much found out that if you put stuff in here, you're not going to get it out whenever you have mags in there because the mags are going to block everything. So I don't ever bother putting anything in there. Plus it makes the bottom of your plate carrier where mags are punch out more or pop out more. So if you're, especially if you're double stacking mags and then you put stuff inside here as well, you know, it's going to be sticking out this far and you're not going to be able to go prone. So that's just something to consider. So something nice that they do is they actually put an admin pouch at the top as well. So you can see up here, got Velcro all the way across. You can put whatever you want in here. I just put some wet wipes. You know, I have some wet wipes in here because you never know when you need to clean your hands or go to the bathroom, whatever. And I also shoved a whole bunch of batteries in there. So I don't know if you can see down in there or not. But I have probably about 8 AA lithium batteries and probably about 4 the AAA lithium batteries. So you can kind of put anything you want in there. I just put that kind of stuff. You could fit a small multi-tool in there if you wanted to. But that's just what I chose to have in there because it's easy to get to it while I'm wearing it. So that's a nice touch. And again, you can put anything you wanted in there. So one other nice touch, and you may like this, you may not. I do like it because it allows me to put stuff wherever I want, but all of their MOLLE on all the way around, you can see on the Cummerbund here as well, it's Velcro. So a lot of companies will just use this type nylon webbing and it won't have Velcro on the outside. But theirs is Velcro all the way around on the MOLLE, but it's also camo. So if you look on here, a lot of companies will cheap out and they'll use just, you know, say tan Velcro or green Velcro. So you'll have a plate carrier that's multicam like this, but then all the straps will be something like this, where it doesn't actually make it multicam. So your plate carrier ends up being tan or whatever color the MOLLE is. So that's kind of obnoxious to me. So I really like the fact that the MOLLE Velcro itself is actually multicam along with the plate carrier. So that's plus the whole thing being Velcro is you can put patches wherever you want. You put, you know, whatever you want down on the bottom. And there's some magazine pouches and stuff that attach with Velcro. So if you want to do that, I guess in theory you could. And make it, you know, quick detach. But with that, you're not going to get a whole lot of retention. So something to consider. This plate carrier itself fits regular 10x12 plates. I don't know if you could fit, you can, again, go to their website if you really want to see. If you use larger plates like the 11 by, I think it's 11 by 14s, I want to say, it would probably fit in here because and I'll show you this in here in a second, but I jam quite a bit inside here. But if you have a thinner plate that's an 11 by 14, it'll probably fit in there, but don't quote me on that. Go check their website because I'm not 100% sure. But you can fit pretty good sized plates in here. So what I have in there currently is this. So these are the Botac, you can see the battle steel. These are the ceramic polyethylene plates. They're level 4, and as you can see, they are a multi-curve plate, so they curve this direction, and then they also curve this direction. So you can see as multiple curves, it's not just one curve this direction. So those fit in there, and that helps. And there's also behind those, there is one of their trauma pads, and I have one of those behind each side. So there's enough room for a level 4 plate and trauma pad of that specific type in here. So you can get a pretty thick plate in there. Now granted, I will say the trauma pad required a little bit of shoving it in there to get it to fit, but it did fit in there. One thing, whenever I did shove it in where it fit, it kind of forced this material on the side right here, you can tell, kind of back. It's not really all that big of a deal. But if for some reason you're super worried about, the multicam going all the way to your body, it's not going to. This is going to stick out on the sides a little bit. I don't care. You might. Just something to know. On the Cummerbunds themselves, again, you can see right here, there are pockets. You can put that in there. So if you want to put your level whatever, I think this one's a level 3. Yeah, so if you want to put your polyethylene side plates, this is a 6x6. Or if you want to use one of the larger ones, it's like over there, it's a 6x8. You can put that inside, both will fit. I generally don't run side plates just because where I have to cinch this down, it puts them in at a weird angle because I'm skinny. And since I'm so skinny, I figure I'll take my chances, because if I turn sideways, I'm an even smaller target. So I'm not super worried about it. Plus your vitals are also up here on it, It's kind of the whole firepower versus mobility argument. But anyway, so you have that pocket there. You could put medical stuff in there if you want to, something thinner, or you could put your maps in there, whatever you want. You can still access these whenever you're wearing your plate carrier. It'd just be a little bit hard to get to them. So just know that. One of the things that comes with this, and is a nice touch, you can see right here, there's 2 little tabs. Hopefully you can see it on camera. Yep, you can. So there's 2 little attachment points. I don't have them on camera here because I never use them. I don't think I ever would use them, but what it is, there's 2 little straps that'll hook on right here, and it's just a side strap where if you don't want to run the cummerbunds on the side, you can run a more low profile just strap that will run across, and it has 2 buckles, and it buckles into itself, so you can use that if you want to. I've never really been a fan of those, just because if you're wearing them, if you're trying to use this as like if you're a police officer or something, you're wearing this with a duty belt, you want this to throw on. The cummerbund's not going to get in the way any more than those belts would, and honestly, it's easier to attach a cummerbund by just lifting up on this Velcro flap, slapping the Velcro on it and flipping it back down, versus trying to reach over to your side, grab both buckles with both hands, line it up to where you can't see it, and just feel and close it. Using a cummerbund is just way faster, in my experience. So that's, again, something to know. But it does come with those attachment points, so that is nice. I always take them off just because they get in the way. You can tell on here, the Velcro, as I told before, is nice. It's all multicam Velcro, so that's cool. They have these little pull-off tabs, so instead of trying to get your fingernails underneath here, you can grab this and rip it off, so it comes off a lot faster. I always keep one side Velcroed in place, and then that way this side I only have to just attach the one side. Instead of trying to attach both, it stays to my size, and you don't have to adjust it nearly as much. So, side tip. Still not sure if I like this knife on the side here, but so far it's not getting in the way, and all I did for this thing is just zip tie it, so. Now, obviously, this is not the back of the plate carrier, but you can see right here, there's MOLLE. Hopefully you can see that in there. The back looks exactly like the front. It just doesn't have the admin pouches. It's literally the only difference, so I'm not going to take off this backpack to show you that. But the one difference is there's a drag handle, and the drag handle is sewn all the way down, like halfway down the plate carrier, so the sewing on this thing all around is excellent. You can see there's reinforcement sewing stitches all the way along here, so 1, 2, 3. So it's not going anywhere. If you're worried about the stitching on here, don't be. The stitching on this is way better than something like a Condor is. And again, the quality of this is on par with a lot of the plate carriers I've seen out there that are over $200, around the $250 mark. So take that for what it's worth. And price-wise, which I don't think I've actually mentioned it for this plate carrier, is around $150 to $200, ship, tax, all that included, depending on what color you get and if you get it on sale. So when I bought this, I bought it on a Black Friday sale, and they have sales every so often. And I think I got this one for $150 total, and that was shipped with tax, if I remember correctly. And that was for the multicam. Obviously, the other non-camo versions are cheaper because multicam, you have to license it, so it's a little bit more expensive. But if you look out there for sales, you can get one fairly cheap. And so for, I'll say, around $150 to $175. this is probably the best sub $200 plate carrier, maybe sub $250 plate carrier that I've seen so far. This is the end of the Cummerbund. You can see right here, it's this stretchy material. You can see that's stretching, so hopefully you can tell. And then it has the same material. It's like a synthetic leather feeling thing. It's like a hybrid between leather and plastic. And that's what is actually the little rope attachment points go through normally. But again, in order to get it tight enough to where I liked it, I just used the zip ties, and I did it through the MOLLE itself. So that's what that looks like in case you're curious. In my opinion, again, just my opinion, this is the best plate carrier for the money, hands down. Out of all the ones I've seen, it has the best designs, it has the most pockets, has good MOLLE attachments, has Velcro on the MOLLE. The MOLLE is actually multicam. This little back addition right here, where they attach it to right here instead of up at the top, really makes a huge difference. So it's a lot harder to mess up the adjustment on the back, and it keeps it kind of staying there in place. So hopefully this helped you all out. If you have any questions, again, ask them down below. We'd appreciate it if you guys like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content. Again, we try to do budget-minded things. That's kind of the point of this channel, because not everybody is a millionaire and can just buy whatever they want.